Get live.
We are.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't no 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. None of that. Just click up. She heard the music and went in, Everybody on Facebook Live, can you hear me? Am I clear? Trying something new this evening.
What are y'all doing?
Yes. Alright, so everybody on Facebook Live, if you could go ahead and share, or if you could please share, not go ahead, but please share. We're trying to grow the audience, grow the show or whatever, so we need your help, we need your participation
Please like
with that.
and share. Like
Yes.
and share.
Like to share.
Yes, and we're gonna go ahead and get it on going. Let's cut the audacity on, and we're gonna get 1,000% into it. Coco, you can't be part of this show, homie. Alright, ready?
Yeah.
Alright. Hey, welcome to the It's About Time show. I am your co-host, Chuck Beard. I have my illustrious co-host with us. I still haven't looked the word up.
Yeah.
The queen herself.
Hey, y'all.
And I got the noble, the candy man, Mr. Anton Birch.
Party people, what's going on?
Yes, and we are now sitting in the It's About Time studio.
It's about time too. I feel like
Yeah.
we're
Bad
sitting
and
in
bougie now, y'all.
the VIP suites.
Well, how the song start? A flip flop, lollipop, drop top. Yeah, whatever. We thank y'all for watching the show, for tuning in, for listening, and all that kind of good stuff. And this week, our topic is religion versus spirituality. Religion versus spirituality. Yes. But before we go in on the topic, I guess two things. First, one of my real good friends, Kevin Wilson, lost his father, and he was funeralized yesterday. So I just want to send my condolences out to Kevin and his family. And I was there at the funeral, so I did have a chance to speak to him. But I'm whatever you need, homie. That's.
Yeah, big ups. Sorry for the loss, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss there. One day at a time.
Yeah.
One day at a time, Kevin.
I mean, and I felt like I had to be there because, that's the homie, number one. And then number two, like, we all gonna have a day where either we stretched out in front of the church or our parents stretched out. We gonna need our people there with us. Yeah, he didn't mean
I didn't mean for that to happen. Sorry.
But yeah, we all gonna have our day. Like, as a true friend, it don't matter how much time has passed or whatever. Like, you gotta be there for your people, man. Period. Like, it ain't no ifs, no ands, no buts about it. So yeah, Kevin, I'm if you need something, you got my number, man. Please, by all means, give me a call. Let me know. I'm here for you, homie. All right. That being said, I am finna go to my segment, which is called What the Fuck, Chuck? So if anybody has never watched the show, never listened to the show, what I do is I find crazy stuff on the internet all the time, right? And this week, the What the Fuck, Chuck segment is about something called scopolamine. 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 Or the street term is the devil's breath.
Man, what the hell are you talking about?
The devil's breath. It's actually known to be the most deadly drug in the world. But what caught my attention about it is, okay, it's like a powder, right? And they can either put it in your drink or they'll and blow it in your face, right? And it's colorless, it's tasteless, and it's odorless,
So what
right?
does it do?
So what it does, within minutes, victims become like zombies. Basically, they're coherent with no free will.
And this is a real drug?
Yeah, like it's something that they're doing in Colombia. Like it comes from the borrachero tree in Colombia.
Really?
Yeah, I had to say it like borrachero. But it comes from the borrachero tree in Colombia, right?
I'm sorry, everybody.
Right. I apologize.
It allows me to.
So like what they do, they and blow it in your face, right? And so basically you're incoherent. And like they interviewed a lady that said that it had happened to her, where basically this dude blew it in her face. She didn't, she lost all of her free will. She had no short-term memory, she couldn't remember nothing. And basically the dude, she said she became like a child, and the dude was telling her, what to do, and she basically robbed her own place for him. Gave him all of her money, and like willfully, and then he walked away with TVs and all kind of stuff.
Okay.
It says she took the man to her house and helped him gather all of her belongings, including her boyfriend's camera and life savings. What kind of drug is that, man? Did they just blow it in your face and you lose all of your free will?
Does it say what it contains? Like, what is this? Like what is it? The chemical?
I don't know. Like I was reading something and it went into like a long spiel about it, and I'm not a chemist. So, like, it lost me in the first sentence.
Yeah, this what the fuck is like, what the fuck, Chuck? What are you thinking about?
Really, what captured you on that?
Really, the devil's breath, man. So, look, if y'all are in the street, somebody blows something in your face, make sure you with some good
around Chuck and he blows some shit.
Like, how do you know? You've been walking down the street, okay. Somebody finna blow something, but let me call my homegirls real quick. Really?
Don't get caught by yourself. That's the moral of the story right there. Don't get caught out there alone.
Keep hope alive.
Hey, and that this week is the What the Fuck Chuck segment.
Wow. Okay.
So now we're gonna go to the Queen segment, which is Give It to Queen.
Queen quiet this week.
You don't have nothing about 45 and his little drove
She wants to get
minions
into the
and
subject, so she couldn't say. She's sacrificing for the team.
I don't want to talk about him. So, yeah.
Well, tell you what. Shout out to Kevin McKenzie.
What up, Kevin McKenzie?
Shonda Fuller.
What's up, Shonda?
Roman Pace.
Ramon, what's up?
See Thad, Kelly
Denise.
Angel.
What's up, Dad? What's up, Kelly?
Hey, Trish.
Yeah, hey,
Roderick.
everybody that's watching, if
Tiffany.
y'all could, what's up, Rob? What's up, Tiffany? If y'all are watching, please like the
share.
Facebook page, and then like the video, and then also share it, please, so we can, get some more people involved in the conversation. Also, feel free to put your comments out here, because we want to have a discussion. It don't just need to be us up here, right? Alright. Now that we have done the What the Fuck Chuck and the Give It to Him Queen, we're gonna go to my nigga of the week with the Noble Birch.
Hey, I almost like Queen because I ain't had nobody, but after last night I have to give my niggas of the week to the Mississippi State Bulldog, Lady Bulldog.
Yes.
For knocking off the nemesis and the hated Connecticut Lady Huskies. Or the Huskies or whatever they call them. I don't want to be gender indifferent.
Yeah,
but,
Lady Huskies.
They just lost to South Carolina. South Carolina is the national champs. Well,
Congrats to Dawn Staley. That's her first one.
Yes.
Oh, Don Staley is the coach of
Yes, her first
South
championship.
Okay.
First time ever to the finals like that with a new
Yeah.
team. Congrats to Dawn
So-
Staley.
Yeah.
But Mississippi State big ups last night for knocking out the other night, Friday
Young
night,
black female.
knocking out Connecticut.
Yeah. That was a good game though. Okay, what was it? Overtime?
Yeah, with overtime.
And then, okay, I gotta say this. I'm not a Connecticut fan, but Gino Auriemma, who is the coach of Connecticut, he was so classy in the face of defeat. They haven't lost it, like 2 years, 3 years, something like that?
111.
111. It's
games.
like almost 3 years since they lost. And so, but just the way that he approached the loss, it gave me more respect for him. I'm not a fan, but it gave me a lot of respect for him.
Shout out.
Around.
Shout out, Gino.
My niggas.
Okay, all right. Normally we would put a break in here. However, fuck that break. We got any comments? Anything?
Kim Harrell just tuned in and said, hey.
What's going on, Kim?
Hey, everybody! Thank
Cassie
you everybody
Moses.
for watching.
Boo Watley.
What's up, Cassandra? What's up, Arnetta?
Another.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That was Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Alright, so I guess with that being said, look, tonight's topic, we might piss some people off. I don't really care. Cause we're gonna talk about a subject that's sensitive, right? Cause we gotta,
This is a sensitive.
like the last couple of shows that we've done, have been really in-depth and interesting shows, right? At least I feel like they are. If you haven't watched them, we did Know Thyself and Know Thy Enemy. Tonight, we've been asking hard questions, so why stop with the trend of asking hard questions? Tonight's show is religion versus spirituality, right? And I sent the questions out to everybody over the course of the week. And the first question, just in your own words, you don't really got to do any definitions or anything like that. I want to know, what is each one of your definitions of what religion is?
I mean, you believe your wow, your belief, wow, that's a good question because I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
But it's your beliefs, your belief system, your belief values. That's what I would say a religion is. Wow, your spiritual beliefs. I know I'm saying belief a lot, but I mean it's just.
Well, I mean, religion has a lot to do with what you believe too, though.
Yes.
You got.
I mean, I say the same pretty much. Religion is something that you believe in to help you sustain in life. I don't know if it's something that's like you're born. I think you could be born with it, but it's also something that just can be taught,
Mm-hmm.
And when I say born, I was, somebody asked me a question about do I believe in God? And I had came across a situation where I had grew up with a person who was talking real crazy. And I was like, regardless if I don't want to believe in him, I do. Because that's what I was born into. That's the only way I know. And I guess that's the only way I want to know.
It's part of your upbringing.
Right. And it really made me think, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I want to know any other way? Do I want to believe in any other way? So I guess that would be my religion.
I'm gonna give you what my definition of religion is, just in doing some research and stuff. Well, not just research, but just living life or whatever. To me, religion is like the system that gets set up. Like, religion is like the rules and the rituals and the ceremonies. It also has to do with the beliefs and all of that stuff that's attributed to God or whatever God that you may worship, right? But I feel like a lot of what religion is, like, if you go to church, communion is kind of a religious thing. You do it once a month or more often. Or religion is like, perfect example. In my old church in Nashville, they used to cover the communion table with a white sheet, right? That's because, you know, they used to have open air churches because it wasn't air conditioned. Now that you got air conditioning, there ain't as many flies in there trying to eat all, you know.
Right.
So you don't need all the stuff like that. So it was just it's like traditions that you get into,
Right.
Which I feel like has a lot to do with religion. So now the next question is, since we've all talked about what religion is, what is spirituality?
Because when he said that, I was like, that's kind of like
Specific.
2 different things. Religion
Set
and
of
spirit.
beliefs.
You think spirituality is a specific set of beliefs? I mean, look, all of this is open for debate and discussion. So, you know.
Langston Moore said, well, I guess just to answer your first question.
Go ahead.
Religion is man-made. Traditions. The Pharisees and the Sadducees were religiously committed to their vain traditions, and that's why they missed the Messiah or Christ.
Good point. All right, so he helped us. I guess he helped with clarifying the definition of religion. His kind of was more like what I was saying, where you know you got.
It's a system of your beliefs. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all you're saying. Like, hey, religion
But,
as a whole.
okay.
Yeah.
A lot of, and look, see, we finna get into it, but a lot of what religion is also is the rituals that go along with it. And then a lot of times the rituals don't have nothing to do with what, like, okay, if you say you believe in the Bible and you following the Bible, a lot of what religion doesn't have anything to do with is what's in the Bible. Like, it might just be, like what he was saying, some man-made stuff that at one point in time may have had, like with what I was talking about with the sheep, at one point in time may have had an actual purpose, but then over time it doesn't necessarily have one. Or, you know, it still could have a purpose. You know, it just depends on what it is. But I feel like a lot of what religion is the rituals that are associated with it. All right, so now, second question. That's number one.
Oh, now going back to the spirituality.
Yeah, what is spirituality? Because we haven't even defined that.
I'm so cheating.
Uh-oh, he cheated.
But
He
it still,
cheated.
it still don't break it down. It wouldn't be anything I would say.
Because I don't think it's something that can be really defined.
Spirituality?
Your spirituality is what you believe.
Exactly. I think it's your own definition.
Your
of it.
relationship.
Okay, well, all right.
With
Since
that high
you
being.
said that, define your spirituality.
I can't.
You can't.
Well, all right.
I
All
can't.
right. I feel like Luke over here.
I'm gonna tell you because I struggle. That's something that I struggle with.
Okay.
I struggle. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, hold on. Let's
Hold
see.
on. No. Let
My-
Anton answer first. Let us get.
My, I guess, for me, having been grown up in my religion and growing up in this world and growing up and trying to find my way when I lost my spirituality or my connection, I learned what it truly meant to, you know, not have it by your side and the trials and tribulations you go through. You know, so I think that's a big part of it for me.
What? Okay.
When I discovered, you know, I guess I think about my spirituality.
Okay. Because that's
to let me know that there is something out there that's a higher being
Okay.
that controls, that looks out for our well-being. But I mean, wow, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, we gotta ask the tough questions, man, and get tough answers. So, like, okay, in my thinking about the topics this weekend, or for this weekend, spirituality, this is my definition. The root word of spirituality is spirit, right? Which spirit and soul are pretty much equal, right? So to me, spirituality is like what you were saying, Square, is the maturation or it's the growth of your soul in terms of how you relate to the world, how you relate to your purpose, and then your connection with God, the one. So to me, that's what spirituality is like. It's internal, yes. It's that part of you that is completely connected to God that you're getting in touch with, that you're growing in, and you're learning in, and that you're maturing in. Go ahead, read the comments, Wayne.
Okay. Trish Johnson says, Religion is a set of beliefs and rituals that claim to get a person in a right relationship with God. And spirituality is a focus on spiritual things and the spiritual world instead of the physical, earthly things. Let's see, Shonda says, religion is a chosen tradition with specific beliefs chosen by that said congregation. Then, let's see what? Langston Moore. You gotta read that one. He quoting verses in there.
Oh, you know, I appreciate the comment, Langston, but it's a little lengthy for us to read on screen like this. All right, what it,
preaching, having a sermon.
Yeah, Roger Lindsay says spirituality,
yeah,
it's like a healthy relationship. You put your heart and soul into it to grow and to flourish. You're developing your walk with Jesus and having an intimate walk with Him every day.
I like that, Roger.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sam Smith just chimed in. What up, Sam? Sam the Hitman. And he said, look up the Greek term for religion. It means to bind or control. And then he said spirituality is a culture, a natural way of life. All right, so now we're going to get to the next question, right? Because, you know, like, Sam kind of hit on it, but I want to hear from my illustrious co-host here. What is the difference between religion and spirituality?
What you just said, but yeah,
that's what Sam said.
As soon as he said that, I was like, no, there's a difference.
Yeah,
I know that there's a difference.
I think they're intertwined because without your religion, you wouldn't have no
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
I mean, your religion is just what it's called.
But as
Right.
I go back and think, and thank you for the comments, guys. As I go back and think, they're right. A religion is something that's programmed. So, like, I think spirituality was here long before religion.
But don't you have to have the religion to grow your spirituality?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I think a lot of times spirituality is introduced to us through a religion, right? However, once you start growing and maturing, which is what I think a big part of spirituality is, you start losing a lot of the because, like, okay, my position right now, we got Easter coming up in a few weeks, right? It is so hard for me to celebrate that day because I know it's a day rooted in pagan tradition. So it's like when I was young, yeah, we celebrated Easter, and on Easter we learned about the resurrection and all that stuff. But now that I'm older, I see that it's not about the resurrection. Like, we're bringing Easter eggs to church and putting bunnies up in church and things like that, which have nothing to do with the resurrection at all, right?
New suit, dress and stuff.
Yeah, you got to get a new Easter dress. No, it's basically, it's rooted in the pagan tradition of Ishtar. So, I mean, like, when you start growing and becoming more spiritual, the religious traditions start to kind of drop off. You actually start experiencing oneness with God in complete spirit, as opposed to you know, you're just following some traditions. Because I mean, and this is the problem with organized religion right now, in my opinion. Most people aren't reading what they say that they believe. Most people aren't researching what they say that they believe. Most people are just going off what's been spoon-fed to them their entire life, as opposed to them actually finding out what it is that they believe in. Alright, and I didn't mean to rant on that one.
Wow.
So, what is the difference in spirituality and religion? I guess I just defined that, didn't I? Like, at some point you break from it. But, alright. And I was gonna ask the question, can you be spiritual and religious at the same time? But that's kind of what we just went over. Alright. My next question, and I hope that y'all look this word up. It's a word that we as spiritual beings need to be familiar with, right? And that word is dogma. So I'm gonna ask y'all know what dogma is?
Yeah, I looked it up and I wasn't.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it's ADD or something.
Oh shoot, Will Brown checking in. Hey, I'm still waiting on my T-shirt, Will Brown. Alright. I'm gonna explain what dogma is, okay? Dogma is a set of beliefs taught by religious organizations, and this is the key part, that is accepted by its members without question or doubt.
The first time when I looked it up, the first thing I thought about was alternative facts.
That's what you read dogma.
When I read the definition.
Know what I want you to know.
Well, I mean, and then I wouldn't say that alternative facts per se, but okay, and I'm gonna tell you what I have a real problem with. Anytime that you make something so rigid that you can't question it, I don't feel like you have room to grow within that.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying? Like with dogma, the dogma basically says it's a set of beliefs taught by religious organizations, but the last part of it is that it's accepted by its members, not question or doubt, right? And that's like what Sam put up here, where religion is a means of control. That's where that control comes from, right? Because anytime that you don't get to question something, you know, basically you're following whatever somebody tells you. And like shout out to B Angel Coach Severs. I don't think he's watching. Somebody tag Coach Severs for me, please. However, B sent me this video over the course of the week, right? And I forgot the dude's name that was giving a lecture, but he broke down what happened with the Nicene Council. Y'all familiar with the Nicene Council?
No.
Okay, for those that are not familiar with what the Nicene Council is, basically when they decided to canonize the Bible, i.e. make the Bible that we have today, that we read out of in most of our churches, the Nicene Council came together in 325 AD. Thank you, Langston Moore. They came together and then they decided what books were going to go in the Bible and what books were going to be left out, right? When they did this, they also set up a set of rules where they said that no one could question. Well, this is when the Roman Catholic Church started, basically. This is when they kind of had the convert or die theory within the Roman Catholic Church, right? And basically, they said that if anybody questions this, because we have the power, then basically we can put you to death, or we can hang you for treason, or we can outcast you, or we can excommunicate you from the church. And in the Roman Catholic Church, they controlled everything throughout Europe for basically about 1,500 years, something like that, before the Protestants started coming in. So anyway, all that being said, like that's when dogma actually really started happening, because well, actually, I'm not gonna say that's when, because actually when the Crusades were going on, when the Muslims conquered North Africa, that's when the convert or die kind of thing started happening. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like when they conquered the lands, it was convert or die. But basically, I feel like anytime you don't give people the right to question, you're taking away their right to think for themselves, and you're also taking away their right to truly grow in what it is that they actually believe.
See, Sam Smith said dogma is plagiarism in a dictator type environment in which you take what they say on face value.
Yep.
I don't know if I go so far as to say it's plagiarism. I just feel like it's what you said earlier, like it's a means of control. Like, because once you get people to stop thinking and simply start following, you have control of them. And he said the Nicene Council changed the game. They really did. All right. Y'all have nothing?
I was sending you on that. I mean,
Okay. Do me a favor. Hand me that Bible back there, Wayne. It's on the shelf back there. And I apologize, y'all. I should have had this Bible up. It's on all the way in the back of the room. I apologize. I should have had all this stuff ready, and I wasn't ready. It's my fault, y'all. Don't shoot. This preacher, don't shoot. I don't know who called this motherfucker piccolo player. All right. If y'all have your Bibles, turn to 1 John chapter 4. No, because I feel like, okay, in the world we live in today, because of what people have been spoon-fed, they're not thinking, they're not reading. And I'm going to read a passage to y'all that I feel like sums up where we should be, and it's going to show you where we are. Alright. So, 1 John chapter 4, verse 20 and 21, right? If anyone says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he who does not love his brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. And this commandment we have from him, that he who loves God should love his brother also. Alright. And this verse, like so many other things, has been perverted. Because a lot of the white supremacists, i.e. the people that are in office now, want to try and tell you that your brother or their brother is only a Caucasian male or a Caucasian female, and then no other races fit into their category of brother. However, it doesn't specify. It just says brother or neighbor in some translations. And basically, if you're supposed to love your brother or your sister, what does this passage say about radical Islam? What does this passage say about Christian extremists? And then what does this passage say about the party that's supposed to be for Christianity, i.e. the Republican Party? And a lot of what's going on in the world right now. Like, how are we, like, what road are we really traveling?
They're just as bad as the extreme Islamists.
Go ahead, elaborate.
I mean, the things that they talk against, they basically are doing in a diverted type of way by stripping all these fundings and stuff. That's basically killing people. It's just not to the extreme that the radical Islamists are, but you want to preach against the propaganda, but the way you're treating humans is fueling their rise.
Yeah.
So, I want you to say more, but
I mean, what else is more to say? That's just it in a nutshell. I mean, you know, with the deaths and the amount of homeless, you know, and people just not caring them or want to strip away funding for those, you know, profit for their own greater good. That's just like killing. And you're supposed to be a Christian where it says love thy neighbor.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
regardless of their background, ethnicity, or what have you.
yeah.
But
Is it genocide?
I mean, dude, and I don't want to say the term white people, but the controlling powers, the elitists, have been committing genocide and figuring out how to commit genocide for thousands of years now. They've been ethnically cleansing people for thousands of years, and then they push dogma on us to control us, where if we were able to just think for ourselves, because we said it time and time again on the show, Martin Luther King said it, 9 out of 10 Caucasians, you know, the average everyday people that you meet, are just as bad off as black people, Hispanics. You know what I mean? Like, they're living check to check. 90% of the country is living check to check. So we're all in the same boat, but somehow we've all been convinced that, I shouldn't say we've all been, but they've been convinced, i.e. the Caucasians, that somehow white has made them a little bit better. When, in all actuality, you in the exact same boat we are.
I guess when I parallel the two, the radical Islamists have distorted Islam where they're killing their fellow brothers inhumanely, whereas the white Christians are killing them humanely, just in a different way.
Hold on, say that one more time, because I heard you. But
As the radical Islamists, they're doing their killing, but they're doing it inhumanely. Well, shit, I mean, in a cynical kind of way,
What's a inhumane versus?
I mean,
a
they're
humane
doing it
killing?
what we believe is inhumane beheading. Even the suicide
blowing up buildings and suicide bombers.
Killing innocents.
Okay, hold on. Pump your brakes.
From what the media has told us.
Well, no, I don't give a damn. I mean, the media tells us all kind of stuff, but it's the way that they spin it, which is the whole reason why they have what's called a spin.
But what I'm saying is, it's the same way as what I was saying earlier. Mm-hmm. They're just doing it in an inhumane way, which I said cynically it could be inhumane, but I said in a humane way.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's a way to humanely murder somebody though. But like, I guess an inhumane way to murder somebody is with a
should I say
graphically?
Life. I mean, just
graphically. I mean,
extreme.
The reason why I don't agree with you is because last weekend a bomb was dropped on. I can't think of what country it was, but our commander-in-chief, 45, dropped a bomb that killed 238 people.
Yeah.
How is a bomb dropping and 238 people being killed humane versus, I got a rusty knife and I chopped their limbs off
guess
one by one?
I wasn't looking at it that aspect. I was talking about the government powers that be, because we were talking about the Republicans. No, I saw something the other day on it, and they were talking about the little camps they have, and because of all this, and one girl is blind and can't, and something else is wrong with it, and her mom died. It's,
and then okay, if you think about,
but you want to blame 44 on a lot of shit. He ain't killed nobody like that.
A bunch of people, but he didn't.
He wasn't careless like that.
I don't know, because them drone, he was on trial for some drone strikes. But anyway, we gonna get past that. Okay, this is my thing right here. Anytime that you are oppressing people, i.e., what's happening with the Palestinians, what's happening with a lot of the Muslim countries, the Syrians, anytime that you're oppressing people and they don't have a voice, they're told that they can't fight back, and then the media is skewing it they're still killing people. You know what I mean? And then at what point do these people get the right to fight back against their oppressor?
Yeah.
I mean, we're the only country in the world, and this is what's so dangerous about Martin Luther King Jr.'s nonviolent philosophy. We're the only country in the world that is, or we're the only people in the world, black people, that are looking to make peace with our oppressor. Because everybody else, they want to murder the shit out of their oppressors. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to just.
But I see that. But see, when that happens, we still become the monster. And they still become the victim. Yeah,
that's because they own the media outlets and they spin it. That's the whole issue. They spin everything, i.e., why you can murder Tamir Rice, murder Trayvon Martin in cold blood, and they are clearly the victims, but you make them out to be monsters.
Right.
Mike Brown.
The recent story about the guy traveling, was in New York, and he stabbed the guy. The black guy. But they made the white guy look like
he just got a mental problem.
The dude in Florida was eating the dude's face.
Yeah, he did.
They used a taser.
They made the black guy look like he was, he had such a bad record.
Yeah,
he was a bad
16-year-old black man.
Yeah,
and the white dude was oh so good. That bullshit. Anyway, that's the system of dogma that we fall into, right? Because we got to get it back on track with the religion versus spirituality thing. But we see how it's affecting everything because they've been pushing off their beliefs and religions on us, right?
Right.
Damn. Dafia said that
motherfucker is a terrorist.
Yeah. He sure lived. Talking about he was planning on killing more black people.
Man, what? That's a terrorist right there.
The man they traveled all the way up there to kill that man.
Yeah, and now they trying to loosen up the hate crime laws for white people. Have you read that?
No.
I'm sorry. That's a different show. All right, back to the religion versus
thank you, everybody,
spirituality. Yeah, and if you haven't shared the video, please share it for us.
Like and share for us.
And we talked about what dogma is, right? With the unquestioning beliefs, right? Unquestioning belief system. And we kind of got onto it a little bit, but how much of dogma provides room for people to pass judgment, i.e., like through racism, homosexuality. I don't want to call it homophobia because nobody really scared of gay people like that. Sexism, black on black crime, denomination, and then if you go to church, the attitudes of church folk. Like how much of dogma plays a role in all of that?
It's probably why I don't go.
And if you go against what the alleged mainstream belief is, of course they're gonna look at you crazy.
Yeah.
I.e., the nigga getting too big for his britches, or you know what I'm saying, or who is she? You know what I'm saying? How to say this? You know what I'm saying? So
they think they better than us.
You know what I'm saying? So you coming out the closet now, you know, be like all of these things goes against what we've been taught is right, good, and normal, and decent. So you know what I'm saying? You got a black dude that want to take a white man's job. Oh my. You know what I'm saying? A woman comes out the closet, says she's gay. Dude come out the closet, say they want to be married. Well, you know what I'm saying? That goes against. I mean, hey. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It plays a role in everything.
I mean, you got.
I mean, like, it controls how you think.
You got gay pastors.
How dare you think you can be somebody? You supposed to be over there like the worker ant that you are.
It's become a fad. Like a fad. Yeah, you got gay pastors with a first man.
When it's tough because at the end of the day, you do you. But at the same time, for you to be on that platform.
But what Bible are you preaching from?
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. What book are you?
I want to know what Bible
versus what you know. If you are Brotherly Love Baptist Church.
I'm Reverend Jeffrey Love with my first man.
Whatever
Rodney Lovelace. Kind of crap is that? My first man.
I mean, and you are preaching from.
If you build it, they will come.
The James King version, or
literally and figuratively.
I just need to understand. Like again, you do you, but at the same time,
I don't want to read that Bible. I don't want to sit up in that church.
How can you be on that platform? And that's just like going to a doctor that ain't go to no doctor.
So do they have? I'm sure they have a pastor's anniversary and stuff, just like regular church with your first band.
No, don't do it.
So
I'm not touching
who's
that.
escorting them down? Because you know they escort them in the anniversary. I'm just curious. I'm just asking. What Bible? Or how are you gonna justify yourself to sit up in that church and say amen? Unless you like them.
Hey, ask Eddie Long them people. But anyway,
We can't ask Eddie Long no more. I'm sorry.
Well, at least he was. At least he was. I hate to say it like this. At least he was shade tree in front.
You don't hate
that he had a wife instead of just being out there with the first man as my first lady.
At least he was trying to hide.
Right. I got my first man and I'm preaching the word.
Hey man, it's all in what, you know what I'm saying, though. People, they see, the problem with religion versus spirituality is, you know what I'm saying, like that right there, what you talking.
But I mean, and
people don't know what they searching for.
They was like, okay,
you know what I'm saying? So they reaching and searching for what sounds good.
You got pastors out here that's a divorce. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to do that according to the Bible. That's true.
Not necessarily. I mean, there's certain cases where you can't get divorced.
It's also situations where after that has happened, I done stole before, but I don't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've been delivered from that spirit. You know what I'm saying?
So in their Bible, if they're portraying that, so in their Bible is it Adam and Evan?
No, I'm saying like.
I'm just saying.
Adam and Steve.
Right? Are they? Is that in your Bible? Because what you.
Like,
man,
I don't.
Hold on.
How do we get on this, man?
We gonna get off because we're not gonna get off the topic, but we gonna kind of. I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. I usually do that because
it's okay. It's alright because personally, like, alright. everybody, according to, you know, if you believe in this, everybody has sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, right? Period. God hates all sin, right? But you are willfully committing a sin and trying to lead the church.
Exactly.
That's what you were saying.
Well, hold on, because we're going to move past that part of it. But, because I don't want to do the harping on it, because, I don't know. Anyway, so you are willfully committing a sin over and over and over again, which all of us do in some way, shape, or form. However, most of us are not leading a congregation.
Aren't you blaspheming? Aren't you pretty much blaspheming?
Not necessarily. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite, but you're not necessarily a blasphemer. Okay. All that being said, like, because I really, man, like DOGMA. You know, we talked about it passing judgment, and you know, in the church, like with the racism, the gayness, the the sexism. We didn't get on the black on black crime, and we didn't get on the attitudes of church people based on their dogma, what somebody has told them. Because I don't know when it was made proper for somebody to have to wear a tie to church, or you got to wear a skirt that touches your knees, or you know, they don't know where in the Bible say you got to have these things, right?
Or you got to make 35,000.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I hear the Lord waiting on you to put that card in
Yeah.
there, put in your,
I mean, the first time I
your
saw
PIN
ATM
number.
in the church, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, and knew that was somewhere I didn't want to be.
So
Exactly.
So that does the pastor say, well, the ATM is full of members. If you don't have any money, it's got plenty of money for you to get
Man,
to the
it's
Lord.
with a $3 fee that goes directly
to the building fund.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's so much the dogma that's been put in. Because, like, if you really want to, if all y'all church people out there, okay, you might get mad at me. The only thing Jesus ever said about giving was, let every man give as God has purposed on his heart. Period. That's the only thing Jesus ever said about giving. Look it up. Especially, you know, in terms of like giving tithes and offerings and all the other stuff. Now, does the church take money to operate? It does. Do I believe that you should give? I do. But I don't believe that it should be mandated or forced upon anybody, because there's churches out here that want to see your tax statement, want to see your what you call it, your when you get paid, your check stub.
I would not be attending your church.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to that church. Yeah, the churches do that. They're actual churches
I
do
hear
that.
some big
Yeah, and
hey, the building fund.
I mean, you gotta make sure the lights stay
Pastor
on.
need his helicopter and his damn Maybach.
So if your check stub ain't right, then what?
Well,
They still want 10%. You gotta tithe off the
So
gross.
you gotta direct deposit
you sit
with the
way
church.
back up there by the video booth and watch the
Sean
sermon.
Haywood said that he disagrees with you, Chuck. Read Matthew 23:23.
All right, Hagwood, hold on. Let's do it, man.
Of
Hagwood.
course, I think, yeah.
That's what I want. I want some good.
Langston Moore
discussion
basically
here.
said the same thing. He said the scripture, hypocrisy. Hold on. What do you say?
Hagwood, it's good to see you listening too, homie.
The scriptures, hypocrisy in the church. Our job is to simply love and let the word of God convict people concerning their shortcomings. And then he as well, he quotes Matthew 23:23.
That's what Hagwood did.
No, Langston Moore
Oh, okay.
and Hagwood done put that on there.
Yeah. It says, "Woe to you, scribes! Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you tithe mint and dill and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice, and mercy and faith. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others."
Now, I'll read the translation of that.
Okay. Well, who's translating? This is what Langston Moore is saying?
Yeah, well, Langston actually put what may be the NIV version. But it
No,
basically says, "Woe to you,
that's the
teachers
NIV.
of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. You yourselves do not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to."
See, and I 1000% agree with that. I mean, anytime you start teaching things that, and that was one of my questions I was gonna ask, right? Does God fit in the box? Because I feel like what we try and do a lot of the times is, and me and B had this conversation earlier in the week, a lot of times what we try and do is make God fit into our own words and our own emotions, right? When God is infinitely bigger than that, right? And just like I don't think God fits in a box, I don't think all of God fits into this book either, right? Because that's why we have something called the written word and we have the rhema word, right? Written word and we have revealed word, right? Which means that God walks with you constantly on a daily basis and reveals what your purpose is, what he needs you to do, where he needs you to be, and those kind of things, which through study and meditation and fasting and praying and all that stuff, yeah, you get there to where everything gets revealed easily, but it doesn't just stop here.
Dafia said,
me and Hag were going to have an offline conversation.
Dafia said that we like to humanize God and he isn't human.
No, he's so far beyond that. I mean, if you want to talk about omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent,
that don't fit in no box.
No, that don't fit in none of this that I got right, this skin I got wrapped around my body. Alright, so next question. And we touched on it. Like, we keep getting overlapping things, right? But in terms of dogma, how much of dogma is scripture being taken out of context? Like, how much is religion being scripture taken out of context? And how much of religion and dogma is in direct contradiction to the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah? Especially if you want to say God is love. Or if the Bible, like it says, God is love.
So basically, how much is it taken out of context, period?
Yeah, I mean, just
so
discuss what you see.
I'm a living truth of how it's taken out of context.
Okay.
And I was told that basically, in a nutshell, the Bible says that you're supposed to put your wife first. So therefore, it left me neglected. Just to put it all in a nutshell.
Okay,
we know good well that that's...
No. You gotta explain what you're talking about, because you just gave a vague generality that we need to delve into.
My father met a woman, and evidently there was some baby mama drama issues going on. He got married, and the new wife did not want to have anything to do with me because of the baby mama drama. So therefore, because my grandfather is a preacher, and my dad followed in his footsteps and, was studying the Bible per se and getting to know the Lord, and he said that it was his duty to put his wife first. So therefore, by putting his wife first, that left me not being able to come around and, not being able to be a part of his life and, do stuff with him. So the Bible being taken out of context, shoot, yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's always taken out of context, especially in the slavery days. Especially in the slavery days. That's how they controlled slavery. Where did he go? So
Dogma got him.
And the dogma got him. But
I mean, it's taken out of context in a lot of different ways, not just by our personal, beliefs in dealing with the context of the Bible, but in other ways as far as like branching off into different sects and beliefs from the Bible. So it's taken out of context. It's done in all kind of ways.
Yeah. That's just like the debate on a woman submitting to her husband. Yep, it is. It's a very strong debate. Sam Smith, God, Gumar, Oz, Dubar equals wisdom, beauty, strength. Look it up. The attributes of God are in us, if we are made in his image mentally, it does. John 10:30-35.
It says ye are gods. Okay. He said, okay. And I'm familiar with exactly what you're talking about. Gomar Az Dubar, right? Wisdom, strength, and beauty. Those are the demeanors of God. Period, point blank. That's true. However, the books that you read have a difference between Yah, God, the creator, the all, right? And gods that it uses with a little g, right? And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, we talked about God, some characteristics of God being omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, right? And yeah, Sam said Yahweh, but Yahweh is actually, Yahweh is a sentence. Yah is actually the name, right? Which is why you have Hallelujah, Jeremiah, Isaiah, right? Yah is the name. Yahweh is I am that I am. I am is simply Yah. So anyway, when we start talking about being gods, yes, we have the ability, like I said, God created man in his own image. So we have the ability to create, we have the ability to destroy. We have similar characteristics as God, however, that does not make us omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent, which does not make us the all. We are simply small portions of the all, because the all understands what goes on throughout the universe and controls what goes on throughout the universe. And we are barely able to control what goes on in and around our own flesh, which is, yeah, I'm familiar with the Tetragrammaton too. Alright, so next question. I'm not going to go back into it with Sam, back and forth with Sam, because that's something that I battle with and I have battled with for a long time, right? Alright, so my question now is, and I apologize, I had to go out and get me some water. I was thirsty in the morning. I was going to sit up here and dry up on y'all. And this is pretty much the last question that I got. How do we begin to shed dogma and religion and start getting people to embrace actual spirituality?
I mean, it's just into education. It has to be education.
So how do you teach what you don't know?
You have to be open-minded. Be more willing to be open-minded. It goes back to the conversation when we had a couple weeks ago about fear. Stop being so scared. Yeah. Well, it's education.
What you think, Square? How do we go from being, how do we go from dogma and religion into true spirituality? And then how do we get other people to start going from dogma and religion into true spirituality?
Getting people to find themselves, the real them, to search their spiritual being, to learn to embrace who they are as a person, which in turn should get them connected more with their spirituality.
Okay.
I hate when people try to force God on you.
Man.
Force it on me. Let me
Force it. You know
don't force
saying?
anything down my throat. Let me
Right.
look at this on my own free will and accord.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm gonna tell you what burns my biscuits, for lack of a better term.
What burns your biscuits?
Man, whenever you, like, these people that are so super duper religionified all the time, like, how's your day go? I'm so blessed and highly favored. The Lord has shined His light upon me. I walk in favor all day long, and I can't believe this bitch just stole my pen.
Right.
Like, what? I mean, like, and I understand, like, if God has been good to you, or if the one God has been good to you, you should talk about it, right? You should not hold that in. However,
Follow it with.
However, if all I want to know is how you doing today,
You done gave me a whole chapter.
Yeah, I done got a sermon.
Say fine will suffice.
Yeah,
That's the only thing we're missing, y'all. Just start shouting.
No. I'm not ever talking to you. That's what really goes through my mind when people say that, man. So I mean,
I've learned, but you know what? It's funny being in this work that I do, that I learn when they start out like that. Because when I have a conversation with somebody, that's probably the first thing I say. How you doing today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm blessed. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, I'm finna be on the phone with them all day because they got so many issues. But they blessed though.
Yeah. I'm blessed, except for I got a $300 bill that I don't think I deserve. You ain't paid your bill in 2 months.
Right. Y'all
Sam
want to
Smith
keep
said he
it.
called him
God, I'm
super
still waiting on God to provide. God said He was gonna give me a $600 check. And
Well,
I'm gonna
but
take
God,
care of
God
y'all.
didn't tell you to go out there and pull and play all them damn numbers
Lottery
every day
tickets.
and pull the lottery roll off the gas station.
Yeah, so I'm gonna answer this question. Like, how do we begin to shed the dogma and religion? Right. Number one, I agree with everything you said. The education, the open-mindedness, the fear, and knowing yourself. Right. I also think we got to be honest. Period. And we can't be scared of being honest. I mean, and like if.
But that goes back to what I said about knowing yourself and embracing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I'm saying. In terms of what I mean when I say we got to be honest, like we got to be honest with each other and grow thicker skin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we can't be scared of, like, when we were growing up, your parents could check you, your neighbors could check you, your grandparents could check you, your teachers could check you, your coaches could check you.
Yep.
And we had to grow tough skin.
You
And
think you was probably more scared of the coach than your own daddy.
yeah, well, no. Yeah. So I mean, that's right. And I just was getting had hard conversations. They almost said so. And how you been able to do that? That's somebody being brutally up-based honest. I don't feel like, you know, we start to shed that dogma and religion. Also, the other thing is respect, i.e., love. Because people that you don't know, that's what love looks like, is respect.
We have lost so much respect. Not only we was already disrespecting ourselves, but each other. Like, it is crazy now. And every time I see something, the first word that comes to my brain is savage. Just savage. How these people around him just acting like, you know, when something happens, the comments that these people are making nowadays, like, you know. Even with this 45 mess and the country so divided, you know, it's crazy how people are just downright disrespecting. And then our elders are really at a high rise of being It's crazy.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna read what Sean Hagwood said, because he wrote something that could be a dissertation for for divinity school. But he said oftentimes Christian dogma becomes a smokescreen of facades rather than moving into practical theology that asserts personal and community transformation. God bless America. Hagwood. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, because like what it is, if people would be honest with themselves, number one, most people don't like to read.
Nope.
Most people don't like to research. Most people aren't really interested in knowing about their higher self or growing into the person that the one, the creator God, wants them to be, right? So in the process of you not actually taking that serious, you will take anything that gets spoon-fed to you as truth.
We have to get back to our communities.
We do.
Because as I'm thinking about it, back in the day, we were a community. Like he said, not only were we going to get chastised by our parents, it was our neighbors, our uncles, our teachers, somebody at the church. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go to Sunday school because I knew somebody was going to get me because I got in trouble earlier that week. And I mean, now, I thought about this too. The school, the education system, talking to my son, you know, he was talking earlier about a teacher got arrested by something he did 3 years ago with some little girl or whatever the case may be. But you see that so much in the news now. But where are our true educators? Where, like, nowadays, I think it's the issue of the teachers not being paid enough, so you don't have that many teachers anymore. The true teachers, like you used to have, the ones that really cared about the students. You know what I'm saying? The ones that really cared if they was going to pass and if they was going to know what they knew before they passed. You know what I'm
They
saying?
just happy to get teachers.
Nowadays, they happy to get a teacher, a body, into the school, and then those people are just happy to get a paycheck.
Well, okay, I'm gonna tell you why that is, and then I'm gonna go to Wayne's comment because I really want to read this, and I really want to comment off of what he said. The reason why that is because we've already established that the system that we live in and work in is not one that promotes anything other than the elite, right? So that being said, they've taken a lot of power out of teachers' hands. They've taken a lot of power out of principals' hands, out of parents' hands as well. So, you know, a lot of people that would go in and then also they don't pay teachers shit.
Right.
It's not enough. Like, yeah, and then like they're talking about no raises now. Who wants to go into a profession where I top out at $40,000 or $45,000, or I got to coach, plus I got to teach, plus I got to take on this, just so I can go out here and do what my passion is. Right. It's other way. Like I could go train somebody in corporate America and work a 9 to 5 and be done with it. Yeah. So a lot of people take that route. But what Wayne said, and in regards to what I was saying about the whole honesty and then, you know, being real with where we are as a people in terms of what we believe, he said doing that kind of research and self-checking isn't sexy. It's not what's trending. I tell you, at the beginning, no, it's not sexy because it doesn't feel sexy, right? But
it ain't supposed to feel sexy.
But hold on. But once you get to the point of self-actualization and you actually know yourself and self-realization, like for me, you know, you can see somebody walk into a room or have somebody open their mouth, and that's the sexiest thing in the world because they're walking completely in who they are, right? Which is not something that a lot of people are even willing to try and understand, much less do and walk out. So, in terms of, you know, it not being sexy, no, at the beginning it's not, but once you actually start seeing that and walking in that, then yeah, it becomes super sexy. And then also, like, if you truly want to have a sexy lifestyle, you got to let go of all of the shit that you feel like you got to hold on to that is not spiritual, and you got to embrace things that are spiritual. And which means, you know, a lot of times you're not going to be in positions where you are, quote unquote, the sexy person. However, your rewards will come. Period. Alright. How long we been on here? We've been on here for a minute. Oh, we just over an hour, so we good. We good. So we gonna go ahead and wrap this show up.
You was a mess. I swear. What you gonna do with it?
Alright. Cuz Queen.
I didn't do it.
You got any shout outs you wanna do?
Same old shout out. Well, I want to shout out to Chris. I'm always speaking on my baby, but I am so proud of him. He is doing really good. He had an incident that happened at work, and
Wretched people.
where, you know, he doesn't work in the best environment, but I am so proud of how he held his own and how the situation, after he telling me about it, could have went so much worse. Especially dealing with the environment that we dealing with, it could have went so much worse. But he held his own, and I'm proud of him. I'm proud of you, baby. So keep it up. Shout out to Quinn. He about to go back to school. He don't want to go back. So.
Alright, Square, you got some shout outs you gonna do?
RGB and to the people on the grind for another week. Let's go out and get it. Another day, another dollar, another work week.
Yes. Alright, so my shout outs. Number one, I gotta shout out the Urban Voice. This is the new April edition of the Urban Voice right here.
That pretty young lady.
Yeah, this is actually Dr. L, local radio personality. If you open the front cover and go to the page 2, it has the numbers at the bottom, and look at the market manager for Chattanooga, you'll see a interesting young person that has a position with the paper. Didn't nobody at the table go, so fuck y'all. But
what was this?
It's in the paper right now. That's what I just said.
We was at our other jobs.
Yeah. So my other shout out, Royal Transportation, Brian Allen Sr. If you got transportation needs here in the Chattanooga area, go check him out. John Lindsay, JL Studios, best tattoo artist in the Chattanooga area. Go check him out. Ace Lawn Care Service, Jimmy Holloway. Y'all need your lawns cut, i.e. like mine does now. Jimmy, holla at me. Y'all holla at Jimmy. I'm trying to think how you can get at it. But Ace Lawn Care Service, Jimmy Holloway is the owner. You can look him up on Facebook. I'm trying to think. Oh, Karis Jones, photography. Felicia and I just did some photos with him today. Yeah, so, we
it's official.
I don't know if photos make it official. That's normally rings. But anyway, we are going to end.
Sure, got some glamour photos.
You put no makeup on me, homie.
Get it with the Michael Jackson pose.
I'm gonna end the show.
Was he on his chin?
I had to push my lips.
He had to smile.
Yeah.
Smile with his eyes.
I'm not getting in the end of this. Her voice is very good.
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and give a little wrap up. It seems that speaking from the heart has been what is been working. I'm just gonna kind of recap on what we talked about. So we talked about religion versus spirituality, right? And basically, religion being a system of rituals, ceremonies, and dogma being, the inability to question or doubt those situations, those rituals, those ceremonies, and those things that you've been spoon-fed or handed. In an effort for us to truly unify and grow as a people and actually walk into everything that we have been called to do, it is necessary for us to embrace our spirituality, which is our growth and the growth of our spirit and our soul and how we relate to this world, how we relate to our purpose, how we relate to our connection with God. In order for us to actually really start experiencing that, number one, we have to let go of fear. I can't say it enough. You have to stop being scared of the what ifs and actually just jump out or put your toe in the water, if nothing else. Then we have to, be honest with ourselves. Because if this is what you say you believe, how dedicated are you to actually researching and knowing what it is that you say that you believe in, right? If that's not what you say that you believe something else, how dedicated are you to that? The idea of tithing means to give a tenth, right? And if you are dedicated to anything and you give it a tenth of your time, a tenth of your talent, a tenth of your treasure, you're guaranteed results, period. So in an effort for us to create a better situation, better conditions, in a better world, we have to start thinking of tithing outside of what the preacher says tithing is. And we have to actually start giving 10% of whatever it is that we have, however we're able to give, which means time, talent, and treasure. We have to start giving those things to actually creating more spiritually aware and a more humble, honest, and better existence for us and all the generations to come after that. So, all that being said, we appreciate y'all watching, appreciate y'all looking, appreciate y'all listening. We
Thank
go.
you.
Like and share, like and share.
Like and share, like and share. That sounded like a parrot.
So, a
Like
parrot.
and share, like and share.
Man, they talked about a parrot that actually is going to be used in a court case. Basically, it was on Steve Harvey on Friday. Basically, the parrot was there when the dude and the chick got to arguing, right? So the chick take the gun, try to shoot herself. She does shoot herself, like she kind of grazed her head or whatever. And the dude is like, I didn't do it, but she blaming it on him. Yeah, but the parrot saw everything and gave a play-by-play explanation.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a dumb bitch.
So they what?
Ah, stupid
They
bitch.
asked the parrot if
Shoot
he
the
knew
bitch, shoot
anything
the
about
bitch.
it.
Yeah.
Like, how, what you said? Well,
Ah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
How do you know the parrot ain't trained to say that though?
No, they said that the parrot was giving like a whole argument, play-by-play, like all the cuss words.
bitch, you done fucked up now. Bitch, you done fucked up now.
Put the gun down. Don't shoot yourself, bitch. You know, it's-
Ah, motherfucker. The bitch shot me.
Hey, Wood, appreciate you tuning in, man. Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
everybody,
More
for
house.
watching.
The house.
We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you need to tell your brothers to start
We'll be
you know
on
what I'm saying,
YouTube.
typing scripture in shorthand.
Type in shorthand.
Them
like
niggas
you
was
had on-
copying and pasting sections of the Bible.
Man, hey, how do y'all like the new setup, man? Like, what y'all think about it?
I don't think they noticed.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it could be a little bit brighter. That's the way it was coming across, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, do
Okay, it's dark.
Yeah, like,
Well, we're going to have to put a bulb in that light, then.
that would help.
It's only one that's out, but we got to figure out how to get. I think we probably need to get the fluorescent bulbs in here. That way it'll give that
Yeah.
fluorescent
Black
light.
light up in this motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, not that you were just like super dull, but you could. I mean, you wasn't like as bright as it could.
Hey, Rod, appreciate that, Rod. Yeah, man. Whenever you ready, come on up here. We up here on Sundays. You know where I am.
They have literally moved on up.
Yeah, moving on up to a dealer's apartment in the sky. Moving on up to the east side.
The broke George and Weezy, yo.
I feel like
That
I'm
is it.
in the sweet box.
Hey, she nigga, you Lionel.
The food George and Weezy. Hell no, I got hair. Oh, he had an afro.
Use the second Lionel.
That nigga Black Willis.
Use the you the gooch.
Willie.
He the gooch off different strokes, nigga.
Yeah.
Why you gotta take all the lunch money, man?
Everybody
Yeah.
loves money, cookies and shit.
Mad Dog no good.
What the cookies and shit.
I say, man, y'all no good, guys.
What the
Mad Dog no
cookies and shit.
good.
I was trying to get bad at
What's
time.
the
man.
janitor name on Good Time?
Bookman.
Booger.
That's good.
Booger. Booger.
I'm the booger to be getting out too. That's a nasty booger right there.
Yeah, let me go clean up.
Yeah, her pipes clogged.
Anybody call for a plumber? No.
Yeah, you got the tube belt on Bookman, I'll be alright.
He'll be alright.